I used to not like put my private anything out there, right? So I did Fresh and Fit, and their community. Look, I didn't know what their thing was. I didn't know anything about Red Pill, Manosphere, none of that.
This was a couple years ago when you did it?
Nah, this was last year.
Okay.
They came on mine, I went on this, a lot of debating. So I did their first one, and they're asking me about girls, and I'm just saying my normal shit, like nice. I didn't know the Red Pill thing. I didn't know that was a thing. Only time I heard Red Pill was The Matrix. You know what I'm saying? So I noticed like later I'm looking at the comments, and motherfuckers going in on me. He's a simp. He's a this. He's a
because you didn't say anything about being
Negative.
polyamorous. You just
I
said
just love.
Right.
Yeah.
And they very much don't appreciate that.
Right. Well, they do. Fresh and Fit.
Right. But
their
fans,
community don't. You know?
Yeah.
Well, they just don't know. You know what I'm saying? They can't know. Right. So I'm like, this is weird. What? Simp? Me? I wish y'all would say that shit to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, all right. So then they come to Cali. They do mine. And we're just fucking fighting, debating. It was healthy dialogue, you know what I'm saying? So go back to theirs, and this time I'm like, fuck. No, I think they did mine twice. They did once with just them, and then another one with Mr. Organic. And then I went out there. I'm like, I'm gonna fuck all y'all heads up. So I took both girls on. So, and we talked about it, right? So the night show, they had a bunch of girls on, all asking questions. So, and academics was on there too. So every girl they asked, would you be in a polyamorous situation? Like, especially mine, like just me and the women, and it's just me. They don't do anything outside of this, right? So everybody was like, no, right? By the end of the night, they asked the questions again. Everybody, yeah, I mean, it sounds great. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because when you're a mature person, and I've touched on all facets of life, I've never had a problem getting girls, so that's not a focus of mine. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a confident person, so I'm not girl crazy for one. So, and I listen, I have really good women in my family that I love and I respect and I appreciate. I love being around women. You know what I'm saying? Even in a platonic situation, I'd rather ride with girls than guys because shit, girls will stand up for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm explaining everything in a very normal and rational way. My girls are smart and they're hot. They're not like you would expect girls to be in that situation to be bimbos. You know what I'm saying? And they're not. You feel me? And they're attractive. So that all of that gives more credibility to the situation. And all of the girls are like, I get it. I get cheated on all the fucking time. It sucks. And like, if I wasn't in a position to comfortably take care of my women, I wouldn't be trying to have all these women. You know what I'm saying?
So if you're going to have a woman, do you feel like you should be paying her living expenses to some extent?
Yeah. If we're really together.
Right.
If I'm with somebody and I'm really with somebody, I pay your whole life. Like, it don't, but I got to know that you're really down. I don't come at girls like, yo, I got this. I don't do none of that shit. You ain't getting nothing out of me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I remember one time a girl came out. I flew her out from Costa Rica to chill. And we had to go to the mall I had to get a shirt for dinner. She picked up a bikini. And she was like, so when are you going to spoil me? I was like, what? She said, spoil me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, shop. She got uncomfortable, right? So I'm like, oh, this is one of those. Because that shit don't happen to me. Girls don't come at me like that.
Really?
So I'm like, wow, so, okay, is that what normally happens? I said, I don't do that.
Right.
I'm not getting you anything. You had a nice flight out here. You know what I'm saying? You got a nice suite. And we're gonna have fun. That's it. So we get to talking. This is fascinating to me. So look, I'm not the type of person that shuts shit down. I wanna, when people say wild shit, I wanna know more. I wanna see how they got to that. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking, going back and forth, and I was like, yeah. The more I'm listening to her and we're going back and forth, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of weird now.
Right.
She was like, is the vibe gone? I was like, kinda. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I dropped her back off, you know what I mean?
At the airport or at the hotel?
At her hotel. And we went to dinner and all that shit, but that was it. Like, I was not interested after that. You know what I'm saying?
See, I'm gonna be real with you. I did not have any money when I started my current relationship.
Right.
So I have no idea what it's like to be single with a significant amount of money, like where a girl can tell you're a millionaire and what they try to get out of you. Because my whole time that I was single, I would like take a girl to dinner, and they would always act like this was like some fancy ass shit. Like I'm balling because I just spent like $100 on dinner. And to me, you know, I had money, but not like that, you know? So $100 for dinner is cool, but I wasn't like balling out. Like no girl ever asked me to buy her a bag or get a table at the club or anything like that.
First time that's ever happened to me, Adam.
Really?
It was so weird. You know what I'm saying? And I think that I don't carry myself like that guy.
Right.
That, like, hey, baby, I got this. That's just stupid.
Because a lot of dudes, that's like their hobby. They get real used to it, and they like the feeling of kind of having that control over a woman. And especially these like crazy rich basketball guys. Sometimes I'll hear about them having a different chick in every city that they have games in. So they pay her living expenses, and they basically like, you know, realistically, the chick's probably fucking whoever she feels like fucking, but they have the idea in their head that they got this situation when they're in Cleveland, and you know.
I'm not with that. I'm not with those vibes.
That's a lot of work.
I think first that part.
I don't want a phone with 20 different chicks, and I got my chick from Ohio hit me today, and my chick from New Jersey hit me the next day. That's just a lot.
It's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, dude.
But my thing is like, I'd rather it be consolidated, concise, and we just know what's going on. And I'm not trying to have a chick in every. Just come with me. You know what I'm saying? Or meet somebody else, fill out the vibe, whatever. But nah, I'm not that guy.
See, when me and my girl met, we would just have threesomes with girls randomly, and she would find girls on Instagram and have them come over the crib and hook up, whatever. And then over time, that kind of turned into us being like, well, as long as we're going to take an hour or two out of our day to have some girl come over and hook up, why don't we just make content out of it and make a fucking OnlyFans so that people could see it? So now it creates kind of a weird scenario where I don't almost ever fuck a girl with my girl unless we're filming it. You know, it happens a few times, once in a blue moon, but for the most part, we don't really do it because now it doesn't even, like, why wouldn't we pull our phone out when the amount of money that we can make off of this shit is just ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of made me realize that I don't aspire to have a bunch of different emotional connections with women like I used to. You know, I used to kind of like that. I like the idea of having 10 different chicks that I'm talking to, and maybe I fuck them once a month or whatever, but I like the idea of just having all of these little connections going. And now I actually feel totally comfortable just only having an emotional connection with one person, and then having this sort of arena that I'm able to go into and be able to fuck in this sort of controlled environment where I don't have to think about any of the shit that people normally have to worry about when they're fucking some random girl for the first time.
Interesting. Typically when I'm courting somebody, you know, I let them know everything up front. I don't want to lock you in and then, hey, by the way, you know what I'm saying? So, and they usually are like, they don't want me to have an emotional attachment to someone else.
Right.
They're like, well, why don't we hook up with girls? But my thing is, I don't want to wear condoms, so I don't want to be fucking a bunch of girls or making everybody get tested. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'd rather find somebody so we could just, you know what I'm saying, focus on us.
That's the best thing about doing this content is that legally they have to be tested. So once you got a girl on scene, you know that she's good, even though I have got STDs from that exact situation because sometimes they just be fucking other people before, like right after they get tested and shit. But for the most part, it's like the cleanest environment you could hope for, which is nice.
STDs.
All right, people, we just hit 300,000 subscribers. You know we're trying to hit 400,000 subscribers. So that little red button, tap it, tap in. Appreciate y'all.